Good afternoon. A little early. But welcome to Bruce Leonard Leans Left. While it's still legal. Still legal today as far as I can tell. But like I said, gotta keep your eye on the balls. It's always moving. Could be illegal by the end of the show. We'll see. Anyway, welcome. I'm a little early today because I'm going to the Reds game. Like I said before, you gotta keep living. You can't let this whole thing swallow you up. Can't let it eat your whole life. It's a bad situation, but going down a rabbit hole and never looking out and letting this consume you is not good either. This is a weird time of year for me. For everybody. The Passover, first of all, like that's always been a strange thing to me. When the all-powerful God, Julia, hey, how you doing? And the all-powerful God says, hey, I'm going to kill all the kids, the firstborn Egyptian kids. What I need you to do is mark the door so I don't accidentally kill the wrong kids. I am all seeing and all knowing, but I make mistakes. Put the blood on the door, which is weird too. I don't know. It's very strange. And then which goes to Easter, which is very strange to me. It's like your Lord and Savior Jesus Christ was beaten savagely, hung onto a cross until he died, was dead for 3 days, then resurrected, and he did this all for your sins. And now here's some chocolate eggs and a rabbit. And the rabbit doesn't even lay eggs. What the fuck is going on? How did this turn into... And Father Brock says, bless the Cadbury egg as it brings abundant chocolate sweetness. and there's a rabbit involved somehow. I don't know what that's all about, but it's a very strange holiday. And the rabbit layeth his chocolate eggs on the faketh grass of the basket of abundance. I don't know. I thought the basket was Moses, but I don't know. They got all these things weaved together. Like dead Savior, chocolate eggs. It's like God died. God sent His Son to die for you, so you can enjoy these Starburst jelly beans. It doesn't make any fucking sense. Yes, right. Right, who fucked who? The chicken or the rabbit? It's like, I don't know, but somehow this rabbit is laying eggs, chocolate eggs. I don't know how that ever happened. I mean, I meant to try to do some research and try to figure out, like, where did they come up with this shit? But I mean, a rabbit laying chocolate eggs is just as believable as a guy who died for 3 days and came back to life and no one saw it. Like, it's like he ascended to heaven and no one in the city next door looked up in the sky at that moment and wrote a letter to their family like, I saw the weirdest thing today. A man was floating in the sky. No letters, no witnesses, only the people that were there. How coincidental. How convenient. It's like all the religion. It's ridiculous. Thank you. I'm not sure yet. I'm not sure yet. She gotta go to get an MRI. Anyway. So what else? What happened this week? Let's see. Lots happened. An immigration judge said that Mahmoud Khalil is eligible for deportation, and a lot of people took that as meaning, oh, they're going to take him out, but they can't take him out because he's got two more cases pending, and one is in Louisiana. And the judge that made this decision was an immigration judge who doesn't really have the authority to challenge the legality of the situation or anything like that. And he doesn't really have the authority to buck back onto Marco Rubio because the law that they're trying to use is some 1940s law, or maybe the early 50s. Right. Julia says, I think they all used natural psychedelics back in ancient times and they were hallucinating. Yes, like the burning bush. The burning bush is talking. No, I'm not tripping. The bush is talking. It's like, I think you're tripping. But anyway. The judge that made the decision was an immigration judge, so he doesn't really have the full authority of a federal judge. He can't really parse the legality of it or the First Amendment violation part, anything like that. The immigration judge only determines the status of an individual, and the 1950s law that Rubio is trying to use here is very gives him very broad-ranging powers. That's another problem. I don't think I've ever discussed this on the show, but I've always felt like that's another problem that we have in this system is we write laws and then we just leave them there. They're never addressed later, like, hey, we don't really need this law, and it's also outdated and kind of draconian, no, we just leave them there, and usually nobody touches them. But these guys have spent the last 4 years digging through all these laws to find these, to find the 1798 Insurrection Act, in the 1952 Alien Enemies Act, and whatever, and they're trying to use these old draconian ancient laws to justify the shit that they're doing. But that's not the big story. The big story is this week was that the Supreme Court 9-0. Does that ever happen? I don't believe so. I don't remember the last time it was a 9-0. 9-0 decision that they must obey this court order that the judge said to bring back this guy that they sent down there on an administrative error. Yes. Julia says laws that go unused for a certain amount of time should sunset and become invalid. I believe that to be the case. As well, I believe that, or they should at least be revisited and either struck down or rewritten in a more modern form. Because I don't know if you know this, that there's all kinds of laws that are still on the books of like, you can't dump your horse shit off a wagon on it's like laws from like, the fucking 1500s or whatever. Like they're still on the books. Technically, they're still laws and they're just not enforced. But they shouldn't write laws and just leave them there. There should be a rule where after so long they have to revisit these laws, and if they're no longer relevant, then they should be struck down, or like I said, at least rewritten for modern times. But they don't do that. They just write laws and just leave them there, and then there's like a huge giant book of laws that half of them, aren't even relevant to today's society. It's just like the internet. Why do you think there's such a problem with the tech? Because they never addressed it. They just opened the internet, and that was it. It was like the Wild West. There's no laws. There's no laws, governing the content of social media or what goes on the internet. Now, people have been, convicted of crimes that they committed on the internet, but that's because someone saw it and noticed it. But like, there's no laws against putting anything on the internet. For a long time, it was, I don't know if you could still go, but like there was like rotten.com where you could go and see like, dead people and busted up, people shot in the face and whatever nasty shit you wanted to see it was all there, Or that guy a few years ago who was killing people and posting posting the killings on the internet. And they caught him in Germany, I think. But yeah, he was like a serial killer that was killing people live on the internet. Um, there's nothing to prevent that from happening because there's no laws. Like I was reading an interesting article. I think there's a judge in France who was trying to bring up this subject. And he's saying, hey, there's no laws about the internet, and like now someone in another country can poison your people's minds with shit and turn them against your country from another country, and maybe we should address that, and that's 100% should address that, because the Russians been doing that all over the world for a long time now. That's part of the reason why we are where we are, because I said there's no governance of anything that goes on the internet, really. And I know the fucking alt-rights and people and the Nazis say, oh, it's a free speech issue, and you're trying to censor me, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, yes, we are. Yeah, your fucking fascism is dangerous to whole societies. It's not millions of people. It's not like, oh, you're just endangering a person. Like, no, you're endangering all of us with your... And then you can see what's happened. People are brainwashed. Even now. And then I don't know if you know today, tariffs back off. Tariffs on, tariffs off, tariffs on, tariffs off. All right, we're going to tariff China, but not the electronics, the iPhones and the things that we need. It's like he just wakes up in the morning and whatever fucking shit idea he shits out of his brain, they just throw it in the wall, and his little minions go, yes, this is what we're doing now, and it's the greatest thing ever. I know it's totally not what we said yesterday, but it's yesterday we said we would never back down, but today we're backing down. But he's a genius. This is why. It's like... It's hard to wrap your head around how fucking stupid it is. And yet people say, and then today he says he wants to put the military on the border. He wants to create a buffer zone of, like, I can't even remember what it was. It's not very big. It's like 60 feet or maybe 600 feet, or whatever. But he wants to make that, what he'd call a buffer zone, which means that the military, he's going to send the military down there, and the military just grab up any person that appears in that buffer zone, and they can drag them off to wherever. You know what I'm saying? And, in theory, here's the deal. See, in theory, if you studied Constitutional Republic, the way that this is all set up, in theory, there's supposed to be a separation of powers. There's supposed to be checks and balances. But see, the Congress has decided to just cede their power, which is ridiculous. But this is what's happening. So there is no congressional oversight of any kind. There is no moderation of the president of any kind going on at the moment. And the Democrats, they don't have enough power or votes to do anything. So yes. Well, here's the deal. So I got sidetracked like I always do before I finished my original thought, which is the Supreme Court has said that he has to follow this order from the district court to bring this innocent man back from El Salvador. And for some reason, they don't want to do it. And so they're obfuscating and doing everything they can to stall off. And I can't figure out what it is. I mean, I can figure out what it is, but I'm saying, for some reason, they know. Now they're trying to say, oh, he's not innocent, that he's a member of MS-13, and they have proof of that, but they haven't shown it, and they're not going to show it. It's like the whole thing is like the Book of Mormon, where he's like, I got the secret gold tablets in my hat, but you can't look in the hat. Only I can look in the hat. But I guarantee, I'm telling you now that this is what it says, and that's kind of what they're doing with the evidence. They're like, oh, we have evidence that this man is a gang member. Well, where's the evidence? Well, we're not going to show it to you. Only we can see it. And it's a state secret. It's like, what are you talking about? Well, that's what Julia says. The poor guy's probably not with us anymore. But this is the deal. There's multiple possibilities of why they don't want to bring him back. Number one, what I said is they don't want him to come back and wind up on 60 Minutes and tell the world how horrible this place is and how most of the people that were sent down there were not gang members and were innocent like him. Because they weren't gang members. Because CBS News did a deep dive on these people and they couldn't find a criminal record on 75% of these people. 75% had no criminal record. Now, what did they tell you when they showed you that film? These are all terrorists, gangsters, the killers, murderers, rapists. Okay. Where's the proof of that? Well, we're not going to show you. What do you mean you're not going to show the proof? That it's like I said in the beginning. What they did was rounded up anybody they could get their fucking hands on and made this fucking movie of them being dragged down to, out of the buses and chained up and put into the El Salvador prison so that you could think that the bullshit story that they told you during the election about all these murderers and criminals and gang members and rapists, was true, but it's not true. It's never been true. It's like the trans thing. It's a made-up red herring issue that they just find any crime they can find anywhere that was committed by an immigrant, and they go, look! They're like, yes, but if you look at statistics, immigrants commit crimes less frequently than Americans. There's not that many of these people. Now, again, I'm all for it. If you can prove that a person is a gangster and a murderer and a rapist or whatever that you're trying to say he is, good, get him out. Nobody, that's the other thing they do is they say, oh, if you're not with us, rounding up these innocent people and sending them off, then you're with the terrorists. And like, no, that's not how it works. See, this is how the right works. Most of their, like I said, most of their beliefs are complete fucking bullshit. Fear-mongering bullshit. And they know it. That's why they lie all the time. John Oliver had a thing. What they do is they create a fake story. A fake statistic. Like the thing is, trans people have cost real women 800 medals. They say. And then they do, like I told you before, they fax that out. And so it's all over Fox. It's all over Breitbart. It's all over Daily Wire. And Benny Johnson and Tim Pool and whoever other Russian fucks that they have. And they make a story. And they tell everybody to say the same thing. So they all say the same thing across all these platforms. 800 women were robbed of medals by trans people. This is a huge problem and a threat to women everywhere. And you need to blah, blah, blah. And then when you deep dive onto it, you figure out, hey, wait a minute. John, I gotta confess, this came from John Oliver show. The actual statistic and story, but so the 800 medals story is fabricated from one website, which is like Wikipedia, where anybody can upload any kind of thing when a trans person wins something, and they say, oh, here's a trans person that beat women, and they put it up, and so the number is like 800, right? But then you go looking at it, and you're like, trans person won a pool tournament, a poker tournament. It's like they're not even sports. It's like Again, it's bullshit. It's a fabricated, fear-mongering story that they create. It's not real. It's a mirage. Like, the whole right wing is built on a mirage. It's not real. Like, there's criminals everywhere and illegal alien criminals. You can't even go outside of your house without, and then you go outside your house. Where are these people? What's going on? And then you go down to the taco truck downtown. They said they're just a friendly Mexican family trying to make a living selling tacos. And you're like, these are gangster people? Like, these are... Now, I'm not saying there aren't any. I'm sure there are. Like, there's a Chilean... I think they're a Chilean gang. There was... that came here that was... targeting, was a burglary ring, and they were targeting pro athletes' houses, and using the schedule, looking at the schedule, going, okay, the Bengals are out of town. They hit Joe Burrow, they hit Patrick Mahomes, they hit Travis Kelce. They look at the schedule and they say, okay, they're going to be out of town this weekend playing in Kansas City or whatever. The house will be empty. So then they break into these athletes' houses and they steal jewelry and money or whatever. But so I'm not saying there isn't crime, because there is. But did they kill a bunch of people? No. And even them, should they get out? Yes. Should they be deported? Probably yes. They came here to do. They didn't come here to make a living, honestly. They came here to break into people's houses. It's targets of opportunity that they're looking for. But, again, did they kill a bunch of people? No. Did it like Trump? They opened up all the mental institutions and prisons, and they dumped all these people here. They can't. He's never one time showed any proof of that. See, this is the problem, is Trump is allowed, and I don't know how this happened, but Trump is allowed to just say whatever he wants to say and shit out any kind of malicious fucking, lies and bullshit that he wants, and no one challenges him. The right accepts everything he says is 100% literal truth, and the media just sits there and lets him do it. Like I said, they should all have whistles or something. When he starts bullshitting, they should all just start blowing these whistles at the same time. Shut the fuck up and tell the truth. He's incapable of telling the truth about anything. Today, this is 100% true. You could go look it up. The United States government changed the travel designation of El Salvador to number 1. I don't know if you know this about the travel advisory system. There's a numbered system. 1 being completely, totally safe to go. 2 being, it's a little sketchy, probably shouldn't go. 3, take extreme caution. Probably shouldn't go to this place. And 4, don't fucking go, like Afghanistan or Iraq, or you get your head cut off by these fucking ISIS people or whatever. So El Salvador, I don't know if you know this, but it was a gang-infested hole. Crime was out of control. It was unsafe to go there. So I don't know if they were designated as 3 or I don't know what their designation was before this, but this tells you how Trump works. He's a completely transactional person. He says to them, hey, I'll give you $6 million. You let us use your Supermax prison to bring down some immigrants and make a big movie that scares the shit out of people. And in return, I'll change your travel designation to completely safe. Which means, what does that mean? Which means that he's willing to risk your life for his agenda. He'll lie to you. Right in your face. He'll say, oh, it's totally safe to go to El Salvador. Now, they say it's safer than it was because he's rounded up all these people and put them in these supermax prisons. And I'm sure it is safer because people are fucking afraid to do anything because they might get jacked up and put in the supermax prison. So it's just like anywhere else. The people wanted safety, and so they picked a strongman dude to basically burn their constitution and take away all their rights so they could feel safe. And that's what people want to do here. That's Trump's, end goal, is to make you so scared that you go, I need Trump to protect me from all this scary stuff, and so therefore I don't care if he ignores the Constitution and tells the Supreme Court to fuck off and basically shits all over and takes away my rights. Because I feel scared and I need him to take care of me. And that's how dictators and that's how fascist right-wingers work. So I'm reading this story, right? So here's the deal. So technically, by the U.S. government's travel advisory, they say it's safer to go to El Salvador than it is to go to Germany or France or UK, or it's like, which is fucking ridiculous on the face of it. You're saying it's not, it's more dangerous to go to a modern democratic country like France or Germany or England or Spain because they say, because terrorists are there and they're plotting to attack, It's like, not because of statistics or crime. Again, because of some made up bullshit on the right. And then there was a guy in Spain who's a member of the EU Parliament. And they had him in the quote. He said, it's now safer to go to El Salvador than it is to Barcelona. And I was like, well, who is this guy? So I looked it up. Oh. He's just like Russell Brand. He's a guy who used to be a liberal. And then he got caught embezzling money or doing some other shit. And he turns right wing. And now he's a huge alt-right guy, and he goes around and accuses liberal politicians of shit, and he's also been sued, and it's been proven that most of the shit he accuses him of is bullshit, and he's had to pay fines and pay people restitution for libel and shit. And this is the right. They're dishonest, lying pieces of shit, basically. And people, they got either hiding something, and so they want to hide behind, they're persecuting me for my politics. And yes, Julius says, it's kind of funny how we as a country were doing just fine until he came on the political scene. Even Republicans were tolerant of way more, and folks got along. No one felt their way of life was threatened. Yes, exactly. Exactly. But that's his whole platform, is to scare the shit out of you with lies and bullshit. And it's worked. And the internet, like I said before, the internet is poison. It's poisoned people's minds. Like Elon Musk is always talking about the woke mind virus. What about the Nazi virus, you fuck? He says, they took away my son and turned him into a woman, the woke mind virus. And then, meanwhile, he's turning into a Nazi, I haven't been able to decide if Elon Musk was always a Nazi and just pretended to be like a liberal guy because he thought, because the EV market at the time was liberals. The liberals wanted to buy electric cars. And so he played along with that. We're saving the planet here, and we're doing this, and we're doing that, and this is all for the future of humanity. And then liberals were like, yes, that's how we do this too. And so they started buying his cars. And then somewhere along the line, he either took the mask off or, like I said, he got the virus from the internet. Now, I know I don't. I mean, he came from South Africa, so I got to believe that deep down inside, he was always a racist piece of shit. It doesn't just happen overnight, like. It's just like J.D. Vance. It's just somebody was saying, if you look at J.D. Vance's internet history, it's all dirtied up with Nazi shit and all super alt right. The dungeons where I used to go and fucking troll the shit out of them. That's where they had me assassinated on the internet because I was trying to show people that this shit is real. That it's not. It was buried way down, way down. It was underground, but they were always there, bubbling. And so what I did was I'd find those places and I would go in there and I would get them to say the horrible shit that Holocaust denying and all that other shit, and I would screenshot it all and put it on my page because I wanted people to see that it was real. And everybody that said I was being hysterical, and I'd like an apology from those people. People that said I was crazy. No, I wasn't crazy. I was ahead of the curve, bro. Then here we are. Then the Nazis are in charge. I told you, 2015 is like, they're coming. And this is what they are. Don't let Donald Trump fool you. Like, this is the movement. See, what happened was, a black president was elected. And the Republicans were like, oh no! If things keep going like this, we're never going to win another election again. And the world's going to become a more liberal and tolerant place. We can't have that. So, all right, the Nazis that we've been keeping in the closet, all right, let's let them in. There was always fringe Nazi elements that voted Republican, but they didn't let them into the party. When the Tea Party popped out, and then from Obama, and there was all these angry people on the street, and then the Republicans were like, well, we need these votes. So, all right, we'll let them in. We'll let a couple in, and then once they let the Nazis in, hey, they didn't anticipate that the Nazis were going to take over their fucking party, which is exactly what happened. Exactly what happened. Which I was saying, I said back then, it was like, this is what's going to happen if you allow this to happen. See, what you don't understand is, like I said, these people are fanatics. And fanatics don't sleep. Look at Stephen Miller. He's been yelling since high school. There's videos of him when he was a high school kid. There's videos of him on the Duke campus. Immigrants, this and this. He's a fucking Nazi, bro. He's a Nazi. Always been a Nazi. He's a Nazi now. But now, he's the president's chief advisor and in charge of immigration policy, which is why you see him shipping people off to concentration camps. Why? Because he's a fucking Nazi. Here's the other question. Why are they shipping these people off to a foreign country, a third-party country, so they can wash their hands of them, and go, like they're trying to save this guy. Well, he's in El Salvador. And now he doesn't have any. We don't have no power over him. You're paying them $6 million to house these people. You can call on the phone and tell them to release anybody in that fucking place. And they will do it. But no, Trump's cozied up and said, well, I change it. El Salvador is the safest place to go in the world now. Listen, I'm going to tell you right now, don't fucking believe that shit. I can't wait till, I'm not saying this because I'm a horrible person that wants someone to die, but I can't wait till all these fucking MAGA people start going down to El Salvador because Trump told them it was safe, and some of them start turning up dead, because it's not really that safe. And maybe then they'll realize, hey, this motherfucker's lying. Although, after what's happened the last week or two, I told you in the beginning that this is going to be the biggest psychological experiment you've ever seen. of just how much shit people will take before they will admit that they fucked up, that they were wrong. And as you can see, they're just digging in harder. They're like, oh, Trump's gonna fix it all. It's gonna be fine. He's a genius. And I'm sure he burned up $10 trillion with the tariff thing, but it had to be done. It had to be done. We have to challenge the world order and blah, 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 blah. Like, well, the world order wasn't that bad, was it? I mean, everything was kind of working out. What they want is some mythical past. The world has passed them by. And they didn't bother to take the time to educate themselves or learn some shit or improve themselves as human beings. It's easier just to blame the world. Go, oh, it's a world problem. The world's holding me back. And I can't, but they took the jobs that we wouldn't do. Stephen Miller blew my mind being a Jewish Nazi. If I didn't have a grown son who turned his back on his own Jewish heritage, mega extremist. Needless to say, we're estranged. Yeah. Yeah, I'll never understand that. The Jewish Nazi. And then, these people do the deep dive, Freud fucking, psychological profiles. Self-hatred and all this other shit. No, I don't. I think that some of these people are just assholes. And they enjoy being assholes. And the mega movement frees them up to be assholes. As a matter of fact, being an asshole is a feature of being a mega. I'm a huge asshole. And I hate everybody. And here's a movement for me. The more I hate people, the more successful I can be in this movement. Even talking about Homan. Homan looks like a guy that just pulled his Klan hood off. Like if you see a guy in a Klan outfit and the hood and everything, and you go, I wonder what that guy looks like. And he says, that's him. He's like the guy on Scooby-Doo at the end. Oh, it's this guy. It's like, he looks like a Klansman, talks like a Klansman. This is how you know that the right is full of shit, right? Homan was on some show. This is what they do all the time. And they can't answer a question. They can never answer a question. The cruelty is the point. It makes them feel all powerful. Yes, most definitely. The cruelty is a huge feature. And yes, it makes them feel powerful. But see, they feel, that's what I'm saying is, the white supremacists feel like the world's getting away from them. They're like, we've been in charge of the world for 1,000 years, and it's getting away from us. Yeah, it's getting away from you. You know why? Because those times are over, bro. Past. And this is like I'm fully convinced, like, this is like a hiccup where the fascists bubble back up. But the truth is, it's not going to last forever. Because people aren't generally like that. It's not that, the assholes are loud and the assholes they're bullies, so that, they try to run over people and enforce their will on people. But the truth is, most people aren't like that. I will say this. I've lost a lot of faith in this country over the past 3 months, because not only have we allowed this to happen, but the very fact that we know that they sent innocent people to the El Salvadorian prison, and more people aren't up in arms about this, tells me that the apathy in America goes way deeper than I thought. Like, I always thought, people are apathetic, but once they see, like, their own lives being affected by this shit, hey, what's up? That they'll wake up and they'll do something about it. Or, they'll at least fucking start speaking up. But no. As a matter of fact, a lot of these people are like, oh, those people, they're not even citizens. They deserve whatever happens to them. They don't deserve rights. And, I can't help but think to myself, I've studied history for a long time. And I've always been fascinated by Germany because I always wondered to myself, how could this happen? How did this happen? And just the last 3 months has showed me a lot about how it happens. It happens because people are apathetic. And then after it was over and they realized, that 6 million people had been murdered, people in Germany were like, oh my God, how did this happen? Well, you went along with it for a long time. You didn't do nothing about it. You just sat there. You were like, well, the economy's doing better, and, hey, Hitler was giving them, like, trips on boats and shit, and they're like, hey, we're doing good. I don't know what you... Yeah, sure, the Jews are getting fucked, but hey, it's not me, And that's what's happening right now here. That's what's happening right here. People are getting used to this shit already. Getting used to it. Well, yeah, sure, he rounded up a bunch of innocent people and flew them off to El Salvador Supermax prison, but, this doesn't affect me, and they're not citizens. They don't deserve, right? Free speech. Sure, Mahmoud Khalil is a green card holder and a legal resident, but, he might support Hamas, so hey, get rid of him, Again, do you have proof you support Hamas? No, of course they don't. They don't like what he said. What you have to understand is Netanyahu is a fascist too. They're fascists, bro. All of them. Netanyahu's a fascist. Putin's a fascist. What's his name? Orban in Hungary, he's a fascist. Trump's a fascist. They're all together. They're all working together to advance this fascist movement all over the world. It ain't just here. They keep talking about, they're going to move out 2.5 million Palestinians out of the Gaza Strip. Good luck with that. Good luck with that. We're going down this road, like I said, it's a bad road. It's not. and then he's trying to bully, like I said, China. Like China is not going to be bullied. Today he had to back off again. Well, we'll take the tariffs off of the electronics and the phones, and okay, so the tariffs are off the electronics and the phones. Well, what the fuck else is there? Now he's just raising the prices of regular everyday shit that you buy at the Walmart or whatever. Like I said, all he's doing is fucking you. And all of his voters that voted for him, he's fucking them too. But they're like, he's gotta be done. He's a genius. I will never be able to wrap my head around how this happened. How anybody can listen to him talk for 5 seconds and not think, man, this guy's a fucking moron. It's unbelievable. They just let him say any ridiculous shit that shits out of his fucking brain, and no one challenges him, and they just let him go, and he just talks and talks and talks and says dumb shit, and they go, and they sit there. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I had one there earlier. Oh. Hold on, let me find it. It's a quote. It's a ridiculous quote. He was talking to Harris Faulkner, which, if you don't know who Harris Faulkner is, the token black chick on Fox News. She's a real fucking moron, too. Anyway. So, Harris Faulkner asks him, yes, I have seen the videos that they put him out. Of him sitting by the phone and shit. It's fucking hilarious. Harris Faulkner asks him, what do you think the protesters want? What do you think they need right now from you? And here's Trump's answer, verbatim. protesters for different reasons. You're protesting also because they just didn't know. I watched very closely. Why are you here? They really weren't able to say, but they were there for a reason, perhaps. But a lot of them really were there because they're following the crowd. A lot of them were there because what we witnessed was a terrible thing. What we saw was a terrible thing, and we've seen it over the years. We haven't, this was one horrible example, but you've seen other terrible examples. You know that better than anybody who would know it, and I know it. I've seen it too. I've seen it before I was president. I've seen it. I think it's a shame. It's a disgrace. It's got to stop. He never answered the question. He just rambles and says some rambling shit that doesn't mean anything. And people go, oh, wow, yeah. This is the one thing they say about Trump that I hate the most. They say, well, you can't, he faces reporters. He answers questions. No, he doesn't. He faces reporters, yes. He doesn't answer questions. He never says anything. And then more than half of what he says is complete bullshit, total lies. And they go, well, he's out there. He's out there what? He's out there shoveling shit. That's all he's doing. And you go, always answer questions. He never answers the question, ever. He talks in circles, or he completely lies, or he just ignores the question and talks about whatever he wants to talk about anyway. And now he's taken down Obama's poster and replaced it with a painting of him at that fucking the assassination with his fist up, because he wants to feel like a tough guy dictator. And he's got all of his fucking toadies wearing gold pins that are his face. This is like some North Korea shit. This is not America. Okay? And that travel advisory thing should tell you, America is gone. Right now, until the Republicans get a spine and reawaken in the Congress, or they lose seats and the Dems take over the Congress and the Congress can flex their power, America right now is gone. It's gone. It's not the country that you grew up in. It's not the country that I grew up in. It's not the country that you loved or were taught to love. And most of the things that you've been taught should be shown to you by now that it's complete bullshit. You're free. The Constitution protects you from free, and that's what makes this country better than other countries. Is no. The Supreme Court can tell him he's got to fucking follow this order, and he doesn't follow it. Then what the fuck do you got? You got nothing. You got a big, giant, steaming pile of bullshit. Is what you got. And that's it. Okay, rant over. I gotta go to the baseball game, so I'm sorry I had to come on early, and I'm sorry that I'm cutting it a little short. I still did almost an hour, so it wasn't that short. And I'm going to the Reds game because I need to just go somewhere where I watch a baseball game and not think about this shit for a while. So I'll be back on Tuesday, 6 o'clock. As always, I am Bruce Leonard. This is Bruce Leonard Leans Left. While it's still legal for now. And again, I thank you all for watching. Please share this show with your friends. Tell your friends about it. The show has actually been growing. I've been getting more views than every week. And even though people aren't talking, people are watching. So I thank you for that, and I'll be back on Tuesday at 6 o'clock. I am Bruce Leonard. Thank you, and good night.